And good morning. It's Thursday, and we're at Matthew 17:9 through 13. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus commanded them, "Tell no one the vision until the Son of Man is raised from the dead." And the disciples asked him, "Then why do the scribes say that first Elijah must come?" He answered, "Elijah does come, and he will restore all things. But I tell you that Elijah has already come, and they did not recognize him, but did to him whatever they pleased. So also the Son of Man will certainly suffer at their hands." Then the disciples understood that he was speaking to them of John the Baptist. So several things happen here in this little bit of text. Matthew, of course, is writing all this after the resurrection. So Matthew knows the story. He knows what happens. And some of that is read back into what he records as he says, well, Jesus talked to them about him being raised from the dead. And in that situation, it's not a surprise to Matthew what's going to happen. So we don't know what Jesus said to them exactly. We only have what Matthew records, and it's very sparse. But Jesus told them, it says, that he was going to suffer and die and be raised. And I think slowly they begin to understand, at least in theory, kind of his predictions. But they're asking, well, what about Elijah? He's supposed to come first, and we haven't seen Elijah. And Jesus is like, well, he did come, and nobody recognized him. And they made him suffer too. And they realized, oh, John the forerunner is the guy. He's Elijah. And, we don't necessarily see this too much in the way we tell the story, but the death of John the Baptist was a significant event in that early period. Really impacted Jesus, and of course John's disciples and the disciples of Jesus too, because they all had heard John the Baptist and they knew of his message, and they're kind of stunned that he's been executed by Herod, and so they're thinking, oh no, this is getting serious. This is getting real. What's going to happen to us? See, when faith gets comfortable and just cruises along, everything's fine. But when it gets serious and real, you suddenly realize, oh, wait a minute, do we have to choose? Are we going to be executed as well? That's the kind of terrible thing, right? That's this thing everybody's scared of. Nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants to be killed for their faith. But here's the thing. If they kill us for our faith, so what happens? We die. And we go to be with Jesus. So it's all right. It's I won't say it's no big thing, but it's not the worst that could happen. It's not the end of the world. Might be the end of our world, but it's not a terrible thing. If we have to suffer, even if we have to suffer martyrdom involuntarily, it's not the terrible thing that we often think it is. Our perspective gets so skewed by life in this world and the things of this world and what we have and what we want in this world that we forget that God's world is bigger than that and different from that, and we can look forward to that world and to living with him and not worry so much about these immediate things. So that's what I would say to you today. Tomorrow we'll keep reading. The disciples were told to keep the vision quiet, and obviously they did for a while, but not completely, because we have the story. And now you know. So let's not keep the vision quiet. Let's tell people who Jesus is and what Jesus wants us to do and how he loves us. And we will see you tomorrow.